Alrighty, hello everybody. I have an absolute raging headache right now, so yeah. It just randomly came out of nowhere. I was sitting down outside, enjoying the weather. Then out of the blue, massive migraine right behind my right eye. Like, I wanted to say behind my right eye. It feels like deeper than the right eye, like in the back of the head. Man, I feel it. Does not feel pretty. Anyways, everyone's been putting their 2 cents on everyone's been talking about the insider information that was dropped by Wargaming and a couple of the changes. I watched Clone Guy's videos. I chatted with a couple of people from my community, and there's a few things that I want to go over, and then hopefully Wargaming will, watch this and hear a little bit of my input. I've also got a question list that if you guys want some questions answered by Wargaming, feel free to leave them in the comments of this stream. Please leave them in the comments of the stream. Take your time out that you want to put down your comment. And then I'm going to be compiling at least a list of like 50 plus questions. I'm going to be sending to one of the Wargaming staff to try and get some replies out of him or out of her, depending on who I send it to. I do have one that I believe is going to be willing to answer a few questions, but keep in mind, questions that are answered, I don't want to be pushy with Wargaming. I don't want to, come across and make any issues. So the primary goal is to just get a couple of things going, and if questions aren't going to be answered, then it won't be included in the actual video or the answers. I'm going to mute myself for 2 seconds and readjust my mic. That way it doesn't feel a mile and a half off like it did at the moment. Also, I got my fan blowing on me. Feels nice. And I found out that there's a mild leak underneath the toilet here in the basement. So I'm blowing air away from me because I gotta go get some some plumbing sealant and then dry out around that top section and then clean it up so it doesn't leak. Because each time you flush, there's a little leak. I'm sitting there like, it's poopy water. Gotta fix that. What's up, Monkey Bug? Tampa Bay, and then Michael. Hello, everybody. It has been a while, Monkey Bug. I will not disagree with you there. It's been what, like 3 months since I last saw you in a stream. It's been a minute. Anyways, I want to go over this. I kind of want to fast forward through some sections and then give my input on it because there's some things I agree and some things that I heavily disagree with inside this because the moment where they talk about catering to people, the fact is that if you cater to everyone, then you're going to satisfy no one. One thing on my channel that you guys have probably seen in live streams is I wear shirts that are Boys and Girls Club. I'm what's known as a youth advisor for the Boys and Girls Club whenever I did go there a few years ago. And I still mentor kids that are now out of school and adults, and I still help mentor them. So, if you try to cater to all their needs, you're just going to watch them fall apart and fail. You don't ever want to cater to all their needs. You want to focus on things, so like the whole context of that you could also take and give to the World of Tanks community as a whole. If you try to cater to everyone, you're going to satisfy no one, and you're going to have a huge problem. Giving up from World, yeah, I believe you there, Monkey. But this next update, hopefully we can put enough feedback in before they do stuff to try and get them to actually properly do it. Speaking of which, there's a couple of, all right, has been going crazy. So my Xbox is currently not hooked up. I got the stream going up here in the background. I put it over to my nice monitor. To you guys, it probably looks good. To me, it looks like 1080p on a 4K screen, so it's kind of hard to make out at times. In the Netherlands? Is it Mikael? Is that how you would say it? Instead of Michael? Because yeah, like if you're going for like standard English translation, you would say Michael. But if it's Mikael, no? So I completely bombed it. Mitchell? Is Mitchell? Mitchell? All right, we're just gonna go with Michael because I'm gonna have a big a gradual G. Yeah. So if I'm close, I'm close. We'll just stick with Michael. Alrighty. Speaking of which, my headache is gonna drive me crazy today. Michael's great. Yeah, we'll do that then. No one's talking yet, I'm afraid.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to our Friday stream. I am
Also, let me know if the audio is too quiet. If it is, I'll turn it up slightly because I want to make sure that everyone can hear this in the background.
joined today by Bam.
Hello.
We do have a lot to talk about today, don't we, Bam?
I think, as KB put it, it's going to be a very juicy stream. And I was actually a little bit flabbergasted when he told me that it's been since the start of the Overlord season.
No one cares about how long it's been since you've been on stream. Because honestly, for this right here in the very beginning of all this, it always makes me want to pull my hair out because they're trying to cater like they have an audience in front of them, like they're doing it live and in like a shoot, how'd you say it? Like a comedy club, except for no one's laughing and no one's in the audience.
I'm like, wait a second. No, I was busy that Friday. PTO that Friday. We had July 4th holiday.
Fest.
Right, it's been a while.
Yeah. But as buses, you know, in the UK, as
they're doing their little
like
introduction,
buses.
so I'm just going to go ahead and fast forward through this until they start actually talking about stuff. So, quality of battles, tank balance, gameplay balance. So, one thing about the entire tank balancing. So I have a video up on my channel that's labeled Minto Vinto, like no one else ever see this, which originally it was kind of like me going over the buff list from the 54 or 58 tanks that they buffed that we can no longer go back and actually look at anymore. That is now gone. That is no longer in the game. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull this up right here.
All right. Hello, Minto. This is
So this right here, I went over the entire buff list that they did for update 6.0. I went over every single tank in the entire lineup, and I was talking about every single change that they're doing, like what I was looking at, the entire changes. And inside this, it was the same concept of what they're doing now, but in a much larger scale. They're talking about 120 tanks. The issue that we have is you have the T-32 and the E-4, which are still in a state of complete disarray. Like, we're talking not broken. The tanks aren't broken. They're just a little bit too strong. And whenever I say a little bit too strong, I mean E4, even to this day, even after however many years it's been since update 6.0, the E4 is still in such a state that I still struggle to like consistently go through the front of it because it's so random. And then the T-32 top armor, well, that was just probably an overview that has never been adjusted or fixed because they haven't fixed it yet. So, sadly. Getting tired of bot lobbies.
Foremost, we want to increase average match times to better encourage strategic gameplay and better find ways to reduce frustration and bring back more about the fun that the matches of World Tanks Modern Armor is meant to be all about. Number 2, tank balance update.
All right, so they talk about wanting to make matches longer and everything else. If you want to make matches actually longer, one of the biggest ways that we can go about fixing this is simply make accuracy worse. We have so many perks and pieces of equipment in this game that allow you to pinpoint shots across the map. Map design also plays a role in it. For instance, Lakeville, there's an entire open section that if you are spotted, there is no cover. The moment you are seen, people at 500 meters can snipe you without ever being seen, and you can be completely obliterated on Mountain Pass, Lakeville, and a couple of other maps where there's no cover. For instance, if we were to look up, let's say, Mountain Pass. Mountain Pass? All right, I do speak them. That's not what I wanted. It'll get what I'm saying. I about spilt my drink. That would have been bad. So Mountain Pass on PC, the way that they redesigned this map was they took it and they changed the cross section. So I'm going to see if I can find a cross section, or we'll have to jump on YouTube and see if we can find one. But they designed it to where this main cross section right here, inside this, actually, let's see if we can open image up in a new tab. So here in the bottom section, they actually took this out and they changed this entire bottom section right here. And they made it to where you have like an additional hill and another small hill and then an additional hill. And they kind of mirrored it on the other side. That way there's no crossfire, where there's no early damage at the very beginning of the map. So in terms of wanting to make matches longer, we have accuracy, we have map design, we have... there's a couple of things that can go into this that can help actually make matches a little bit longer. But one of the biggest is accuracy and map design.
This is a big one. We see major benefits into incentivizing what is important about the tech tree progression. This is true both in World War II as well as in Cold War. We are re-leveling the disparity between tech tree and premium vehicles in the game. We'll be getting more into that soon. And then the other one here, gameplay balance. Planning to do a rework of loadout customization options. I think you guys got some hints of what was that to come, and we'll be talking a little bit more on that as well today. And a greater number, adding a greater number of meaningful choices and tactics into the game. And exploring ways to better mitigate steamroll matches that we are aware does happen from time to time in the game.
Yeah, we mentioned this briefly at Tanks.
Okay, a better way to slow the roll of the steamroll. Stop letting new players buy tanks. Now, I'm not saying like, like stop a guy from buying a tier 8. No, I'm saying stop people from buying tier 10. Stop people from being able to grind mercenary contracts in Cold War. Because you can grind mercenary contracts in Air 1 Cold War. In my eyes, Air 1 Cold War is the ultimate SIL clubbing environment that you can join, because that's where all the new players are located now. If I wanted to get in the Cold War, it requires me to SIL club. I have a problem with that. I have a massive problem with that. So whenever people tell me like, oh, why don't you just play Cold War? It's like, because I'm probably slapping around someone who only has 5 games played inside the game. I don't want to play Air 1 Cold War because that's SIL clubbing now. Tier 4, tier 5, to me, that's SIL clubbing all the way. Like, I don't like to play lower tiers. And the moment that they removed tiers 1 and tier 2, suddenly tier 5, the tier that I used to like to play all the time, because you have all these mechanics that get introduced inside this lower tier that allow you to play the game and experience it in a completely different way than, the time that you were coming up, where you're no longer frontally thick anymore, but instead you now need to angle because everyone can pin everybody. So like the Panzer IIJ with the 80 millimeters of frontal armor, and it's what would you say? It's Daka gun that it has, with its autoloader that you just get to spray everywhere where you can't pin anything. That's a paid tank. The thing is, though, is that in the lower tiers, whenever they see that, they're sitting there like, I can't pin this. I can't do anything against this guy. So they're aiming for the weak spots that are almost non-existent, or they're doing anything else. So whenever I play tier 6 nowadays, I feel like I'm SIL clubbing all over again. Because it's the people who just came over to World War II that don't know the mechanics or anything else, because they're introduced into Cold War, and they're introduced to True Vision, they're introduced to everything else, that the fundamentals in wanting matches to last longer and to make everything else different, one of them is the foundations on how these people are brought into the game. Air 1 Cold War is a horrible introduction to the game, because it doesn't teach them any of the actual main game mechanics. You expect them to know the mechanics, you expect them to try and angle right away. Instead, of being gradually introduced into it between tiers 1 to tier 5 to tier 6, they are immediately thrown into what can be considered in-game gameplay in Air 1. Then, whenever they switch over to World War II, they have to completely reset everything that they know. Not just that, this is something that I was talking about with my dad, and he told me it makes a lot of sense, because I told him, imagine you start doing something in the most advanced way possible. Now, imagine going backwards, and you start from the very beginning in the area you were never trained, never taught what to do or any of it, and you are expected to know what's going on. So now you have people coming over from Cold War to World War II. Keep in mind the mixed player base, thesis, I guess you can say, at this point, is now they come over and suddenly, rather than having an M48 Patton, an M103, their M26 Pershing that they were using at the very beginning of the game, suddenly they're driving around this giant lump of lard that moves at 10 kilometers an hour, and they're getting absolutely decimated. To me, that's not a very good introduction to the game. That is a frustrating one. So if you want matches to last longer and you want things to slightly change, and I know I'm shuffling between things, but this is my own opinion on it, is that the introduction to the game needs to be changed. You want to introduce these people into mechanics slowly, not immediately throwing them into something that they're going to be confused on and pulling their hair out after about, I don't know, 10 days of playing, or maybe even a week of playing. Because the moment that they switch between one and the other, where they hear everyone talking about how World War II is the true game, yet they're playing Cold War, they're now confused whenever they come over to World War II because they haven't learned any of the main fundamentals of the game. They are left to be confused the entire time.
First, so it's not the first time they're hearing about the customizations, and we do have a thread on our Discord currently going where you can go and give us your ideas and suggestions. It's still live, I just checked.
I've said this before, but any suggestions that you put inside of Wargaming's official Discord, in my eyes, can be considered a cesspool of we don't care and we're not going to look at these. Unless they align with our own ideals and what we are actually planning on for the future, they are simply going to be ignored.
Just before the stream, because I was like, I'm sure I had one. So yeah, if you have any cool ideas, cool suggestions, definitely.
Now, to clarify that, I am not saying bad things about Wargaming. It's just that a lot of the information provided in there, I do have a post in there that was damn near 9 paragraphs. It's like 3 years old now. Still has never been touched. Instead, the outcry about the T249 was adjusted, but not adjusted in a proper way. Other things have been readjusted, but not in a proper way. T249 should not have this massive 120 round clip. It should be, I think it was either 48 or 58 rounds that it was capable of firing in quick succession before it had to cool off the barrel in real life, because it's an anti-air gun. The proper way to do it would be to give it a 48 round burst and make it do 560 alpha with that 48 round burst. So you have to actually try to guarantee that pen. Yeah, that one. You know, we've already seen the way that they like to balance.
After the stream, don't go now because we have a lot to talk about. After the stream, go there and give us all your ideas. And we do. We want all of them.
All of them.
Yeah, you want all of them, so then you can mention to people the reason why that it wasn't actually addressed is because there was too much information put inside there and you weren't able to actually reach it. I know how you guys play your game.
And I do personally look at a lot of the Discord threads. We pass them through the teams.
Camo mechanics? I should probably... So I've got a couple of streams that are really old, Michael, that you can actually use in terms of like camouflage. Like some of my earliest content covers some of the camouflage mechanics. Sounds like I'm going to need to update a video on that. Side scraping, going hull down. Hull down is a very simplistic one in knowing your turret armor. And then like whenever you're aiming over a hill, for instance, let's say that your center balance is the top of this, like the hill is the top of this guy's binder. Okay. If you want to go properly hull down, all right, come on. I can't grab that. Where is it? Touch. No. Why you do this to me? Oh well. That's stuck there for now, so I'll have to remove it. But an idea is like, we'll say that this is the head. So you want your aiming reticle, which is everything just got minimized. So, all right, I'm going to ignore that. We'll do that at a later date as I get everything back up because, dang, I'm a Muppet. For new players? Okay, not for you. Yeah, but like, Wargaming could easily introduce that.
To get us a lot of the ideas and where we want to make sure we're taking the community along the journey, offering you guys the transparency of what is being worked on as we move forward.
Yeah.
So let's dive a little bit deeper here on the what. So those are the three categories that we have listed here. But amongst those categories, we are going to be taking a look and detailing terrain handling changes.
Okay, I heard Clone Guy talk about terrain handling changes. Okay, Wargaming, this is actually a good step. I'm not going to deny it. This is actually a good step. Let me show you why. Real quick, we're going to jump over to Lesta. Tanks GG, all tanks. We're going to go over to the Lesta server. We're going to go tier 9. Okay, in tier 9, you have the mouse. Tiger mouse? Is this Lesta? This has got to be Lesta. Tier 9, tier 10, Germany, heavy, mouse, 3D model, 5. Is this 220? No, that's 260. So this is still on the official. There we go. Hold on. What the heck was that? All right, 260. Stats. I'm a Muppet. I forgot how to get over to the Lesta side of things. This has got to be Lesta right here, though. So on Lesta, the mouse is actually a tier 9. Yeah, a couple of technical difficulties. The mouse is actually a tier 9. And then the way that they readjusted its terrain resistance, keep in mind, like for what the developers are actually talking about in World of Tanks, Clone Guy's thoughts of saying that's going to be horrible. They readjusted its terrain resistance to actually be like 0.34 on hard terrain, 0.5 on medium, and then like 0.1 on soft to help maintain its speed across the map. That way it didn't run into issues because of its terrain resistance across soft and medium terrain. That way its top speed of like 20 that it maintains, it's capable of maintaining the entire time without running into a wall of, you know, going 12 kilometers an hour across the map. Like our old T95 used to go back whenever we used to love and play that. I'm going to try and mess with that a little bit because, yes, monkey, technical difficulties.
Matchmaking systems, tank rebalancing, like we covered just very briefly, the commander skills, equipment, and consumables rework, and then the last category, map rotation, I should stress, and base capture rule sets. Those are all 5 of those are the items that we'll be talking about today, some in greater detail than others. But again, this is part of that broader quality of life initiative that we feel all 5 of these things need to roll out over the course of the next few seasons.
So, equipment changes, perk changes, and what was the other ones that he was talking about? Because I heard some stuff. Map rotation. Yeah, there we go. Give me, I don't know, a couple of days, and I can go through my old list that I have a PDF of all the time zones of map rotations. They've already tried to do set map rotations, and the spreadsheet of that got leaked out, which meant that if you queued up at a certain time per day, you would hit the map that you wanted to see that day, which means if you were going to end up on a light tank map, you knew that you needed to play a light tank on that map. So you would, you know, Prokhorovka's next up on the list at 3:47 to 3:50 a.m. This is the perfect time to play my Manticore to get the most scouting possible. It's an abusive system that you were capable of abusing. So if they're going to be introducing a system like that again, depending on how they're going to want to introduce it, that is something to avoid. You do not want to have a set counter of what maps, but rather have a set counter based upon what the most dominant tank class is inside of rotation. That's the way I look at it. Because if you have a lot of heavies inside the lineup, you're not going to want to do big open maps, big haul down fighting maps. If you got a lot of light tanks in the rotation, a lot of TDs in the rotation, then maybe lean towards your more snipery maps that kind of give you that little bit of a feel that allows you to actually enjoy the playstyle of that tank. Because the last time I checked, I don't want to be driving a Jagdtiger through Himmelsdorf that's like 10 times the size of Himmelsdorf, but way more confined. You know, I'd rather have a turret on that map. So to have the map rotation, lean a little bit more towards like what is this going to be more suited towards than randomized. You know, that one I kind of just pulled out of my ass. So
in greater detail than others. But again, this is part of that broader quality of life initiative that we feel all 5 of these things need to roll out over the course of the next few seasons in order to improve general gameplay of World of Tanks Modern Army.
They actually talk about that one in here, Monkey Bug. And the tanks I saw on that list were a little bit irritating.
So yeah, on that, BAM, they're not going to see all of them. It is over a few seasons, so yes, we are still going on with it, but we want to...
They also talked about equipment and perks, but I wonder if they get to that further in here. I think that the rest of this is them just talking about the time zones for the open testing, which is going to be done on Tuesday. So I kind of want to fast forward into tank balance to see what they're talking about here.
Yes, and the team is thinking on further more details on that after we run through the
that me?
I have in front of me. Hopefully it's better now. Yes, and the team is thinking on further.
You guys design a video game, yet you struggle with your own microphone.
More details on that after we run through this in the season.
So yes. So, what is next, BAM?
Up next, here's the big one. Tank Balance Pass. Gathering our super test, community contributor, and as well as you, the player base in our community, feedback on various tech tree and premium tank changes. Our goal, like mentioned before, is taking you guys all on the journey. What is our long?
All right, and now here's the moment where I'm going to say you guys are full of it. The reason why I'm going to say you're full of it is because I have applied for the super test 5 times. I have been denied for the super test 5 times. You know, and I'll say this, Wargaming, if you want to reach out to me and you want to have someone willing to volunteer their time to go over everything, because inside my brain, it's like a Wikipedia of WoT, to be honest with you. Like, there's so much in this game that I remember that it hurts to think about. You know, a game that I enjoy, a game that I play whenever I get home, a game that I absolutely enjoy, I know a lot about it. So if you guys want help for like player input on things that you think would actually be bad, I'm willing to volunteer my own time to do it. Volunteer. I don't want to be paid. I don't want to be recognized. Just if you guys need additional input from someone in the community that is tired, I'm willing to work. For free. Specifically for free. Just give me a volunteer receipt. That way I can put it on my tax report. That's it.
Long-term game plans, proving the quality of the game itself. Our focus with this big tank balance is various buffs as well as some nerfs for many tanks. Let's first touch on the buffs for many underperforming tanks. This will be in this pass targeting World War II, tiers 8 through 10 across all nations. Primarily tech tree tanks, but yes, there are a few premium tanks included in this mix. In total, there will be 120 tanks being reviewed and updated, roughly 60 mediums, 50 heavies, and 15 tank destroyers.
All right, so now, again, as they're talking about this, that allows me to bring this video back up again.
45 millimeters.
This one, again, whenever they first did the first 58 tanks or 54 tanks that they did inside this entire buff list, they actually went ahead and made some tanks absolutely broken because they rushed it. Now, I'm hoping that in this iteration of the update, they do not rush this, because if they rush it, they're going to break it. There's one section inside this video that I'm trying to find to see if I can get my hands on it, which honestly, I can't pause this recording because we're simply just here. This was the Minotauro KV5, whenever they first buffed this, and they overdid its armor ever so slightly. So we're looking at 190 millimeters around the entire face of the turret, and then they changed it again for whatever reason. I think now, yeah, it's 240 now. So completely obliterating that and throwing it out the window without really caring. Around the time that they decided to go between the IS-4 and the IS-4 and this tank, rather than giving both tanks 50 millimeters, they gave the IS-4 45, and then they gave the 260 55 on its roof, rather than, I mean, it stopped the problems that the tank was having originally, which was the easy overmatch with this 30 millimeter forehead in the IS-4. But that 45, I think it's like 14 and higher, can now overmatch it. And there's one section I'm trying to find, which I can't seem to find it. Hold on, here it is. So with the buff that they did to the T-32 right here, this was around the time that they simply buffed it and then they never touched it again. So rather than the 38 millimeter top armor that this tank was supposed to have, is, yeah, community service is not tax, but yeah, this right here is whenever they buffed the top armor from 38 to 76, and this is what is causing an issue, because it means that in brawling situations, this tank is absolutely broken. And right here, I believe I show off like the stats that I was able to continuous on it. There was a couple of things that I covered as well, because this is around the time that we also had Scareface and a couple of other really dedicated players playing the game that were willing to put in work to get these stats and get the recordings of everything else. But those players are no longer on this game. They have left because they can no longer handle it.
A lot of these have shared shell type alpha damage improvements.
And Monkey, yeah, I am very aware on that part. There's a lot of prior super testers that I have talked to where they've had like almost half of the super testers come together saying, if you release this in this state, it's going to cause problems. But instead, they released it anyways without taking any of the feedback that the super test actually had to give, and released it in a broken state. And then a couple of months later, it had to get fixed. So I already know how it goes inside the super test. Community service, not tax. Come on, Smacka. Let me take that one.
A lot of these,
because volunteer hours in general, you can do volunteer hours for taxes in general. Where I live, there's actually a volunteer counter that it doesn't matter what it is. If you volunteer your time for stuff that benefits a community, it can be counted as a write-off statewide, not tax-wise. You know, not crap. It's statewide rather than, you know, national. So like it can help me get state taxes kind of knocked off a little bit. Doesn't matter what it is.
Performing our stock loadouts, in which we wanted to improve the first time you earn that new tank, making that experience more enjoyable, to work your way up to earn better loadouts. We don't want you guys to struggle and feel like, oh, this tank is not. But
all right, this guy's mic is killing my brain. Anyways, he's talking about stock tank grinds and everything else. So, yeah, okay, stock tanks, yeah, they're supposed to be a grind. They're not supposed to be easy. Like, if you're playing a brand new stock tank, I don't want you playing in the front row trying to brawl against somebody. This is a brand new tank that you're learning how to play. There's no point in buffing tanks that are brand new to you. If you buff them and you buff everything, like, don't get me wrong, make the guns competitive. If you make the guns competitive, there's some value to that. It allows you to use multiple guns and be happy that way. But like making it, holy crap, got hiccups. But making it to where like every single tank is good no matter what, that's just a massive takeaway. Learn the tank, grind the tank, play the tank. Play it like we've all had to play it prior. Instead, they're trying to cater to people who are brand new to the game, who have no idea what they're doing, as I mentioned before, the players who were introduced into the game in the worst possible way, and then getting put into a program to where they have to start the game all over again and relearn the mechanics. They don't want to relearn the mechanics, and that's why they're having issues.
Oh.
So updates to the chassis. We got some turret changes, as well as 105 gun as well. Get those screen grabs ready.
Manticore. Terrain resistance, yeah, there's no value in changing its terrain resistance. Rotation speed, no point. Dispersion factors during movement. Okay, more accuracy. Yeah, like we totally need more accuracy. Rotation speed in the turret. View range, dude, if you just put view range back to 400, that's all you have to do. None of this other stuff is needed. Aim time, 2 seconds to 1 point. None of this is needed. We don't need better guns in game. The more guns that you make better in game, the more that this problem is going to keep occurring, because there's so much accuracy in game that we can snapshot someone on the move from 500 meters away while we're moving and land at pinpoint. Not all tanks can do it, but there's some tanks out there that 6 out of 10 times they're going to land that shell. While if we were to go back to let's say like 5 years, 6 years ago, that would be 1 out of 50 shells will actually land compared to now. It is ridiculous on the amount of accuracy that we have inside this game. If you are to take all of the accuracy bonuses and all of the premium consumable, all of the crew bonuses and everything else, the largest effect of accuracy improvement totals out to a 42% increase to overall accuracy on certain tanks. Some tanks do not receive that massive of a buff because they already have good accuracy, and improving it just a little bit more is completely pointless, but people do it anyways, so they never miss that hatch on the M48 Patton that they're firing at from 523 meters away to pinpoint that hatch every single time. Which should not happen, because in my eyes, that's a very bad game design.
It's not the only one. We aren't going to go through all the tanks. As Bam said, it's a...
So, Smacka, actually, I just got done reading your comment. Yeah, pay to skip to grind. I've never paid to skip to grind. Okay. There are some tech tree tanks that I've played stock, the tier 6 Italian medium specifically, that I played stock. And I aced the tank stock my first game that I played with, I think it was 3,400 damage. And the reason why is because I know where to go around the maps. I have the knowledge of the maps. I know how to set up proper concealment areas. I know how to build a nest, knock over trees and sit behind bushes. So for me, I don't have an issue with it, but I know that some people do. And the way that this used to work was the original developers, before they went to World of Tanks Legends, actually introduced a very simple mechanic in game. If you were playing with the stock turret of a tank, specifically the stock turret, you would actually take a little bit longer in the queue to almost be guaranteed top tier or middle tier. It was a simple mechanic that was overlooked by these new developers once they came in and they removed it. So if that was to be brought back into the game, where you kind of get hit with, +1, -2 matchmaking whenever you're playing your stock tank, that could be a defining factor in making it better.
120 plus, and if we were to do this for 120 plus tanks, we'll be here next week, Bam, ready.
So whenever you're playing a tank stock, +1, -2, problem solved. That stops you from going against tier 10s with a gun that can't penetrate them, specifically using the stock turret or stock engine. But if you're fully upgraded, if you got the fully upgraded gun, it's completely removed and gone. If you're using fully upgraded parts, completely removed and gone. Only when the tank is bare bones stocks do you benefit from +1, -2.
Ready to start, season announcement. So we're going to mention a few, but on the 28th of July, which is also my birthday, by the way, in case anyone wants to send me anything, all this information will be on our portal, so you will be able to go into it. It's going to be a nice, beefy article. Lots of data, lots of information, so you'll have time to go.
All right, you're making my headache a little bit worse. I gotta fast forward past you.
And have a look at the tanks that you are interested in. And so that is why we are going to be sharing a few today. So yes, the Manticore, The next one we actually have is, I'm going to butcher this name, the Kranvan. Is that right, Ben?
The Krongvagen.
Kranvan.
So this was one that there's a little bit of controversy that we talked about over inside my Discord. Actually, no, not my Discord. I was talking with someone in a private DM, and he was mentioning like, yeah, Krongvagen's getting 440 alpha. It's going to be absolutely awesome. It's going to be so much better now. I sat there. I'm like, that's going to cause a problem. The reason why it's going to cause a problem is because over on PC, the Krongvang doesn't have 4 shots with 440 alpha. The Krongvang on PC, this was designed specifically to balance the tank. The Krongvang only has 3 shells at 440 alpha. This was done on purpose. So its reload speed was lowered to accommodate for the shell that was lost. Okay, so like you got a 30-second reload timer for the 6.11 rate of fire, rounds per minute. So it's like a 28-second reload, a 25-second reload. Whenever you get fully maxed out, it's very decent. Speaking of which, yeah, 23.97 reload, and then you had the clip out time for 2.75 interclip reload. So yeah, it's 6 rounds per minute essentially. 24-second reload. This is a glorious idea. However, whenever I come over here and I read what they're talking about here, rotation speed of the turret, 32 degrees, I don't see the benefit of increasing rotation speed. We don't need tanks flipping on a dime, aiming at somebody immediately, and firing at them with their .35 accuracy that they just received. Now, I do agree with the 440 alpha change. However, I do not see a shell being removed from the tank and the reload being increased, which means this buff is going to be way too strong, and it's going to be outperforming the T57, it's going to be outperforming the T58, it's going to be outperforming a lot of other autoloaders just because of its lower silhouette, its heavy-duty hull-down turret, and the fact that map design plays against us because we don't have very many maps that utilize proper hull-down positions for the Kranvagen to benefit from its 12 degrees of gun depression.
So yes, rotation speed increase, accuracy, and damage. I'm gonna leave this one for you a little bit as well, so you were able to take the images on your phones, should you need to or want to. Then we have...
All right, you don't need to leave it on the screen, and you don't need to tell me that you're leaving it on the screen, because the fact is, this is on YouTube, and I can simply rewind 10 seconds and retake it off. Yeah, this is just useless banter at this point. That hurts my brain to listen to.
Combined Chisel and FE225 to show you.
Okay, Chisel. This is one that they talked about. All right, the FV225. It's got 350 alpha, 8.7 to 7.8, which means that this 8.7 is still... What's the E5 at? E5 is like 9 second. What is the E5 located at? I'm actually going to pull it up real quick because I actually wonder what the E5 reload is. E5's got 400 alpha though. So we're going to go heavy tank. They did give it 420. 8.7 second reload. And they're bringing this down to from 8.7 to 7.8 at 350 alpha tier 10. I disagree with this. The FE225, I completely disagree with this. You got a double barrel that's 350 alpha. They're both 110 millimeter guns. I don't agree with buffing its reload because you can double shot people for 700 potential. This is what I'm going to disagree with. The Chisel, increasing the reload time, increasing the damage output. I think this is dumb. The Chisel needs a nerf. The Chisel has needed a nerf for a very, very long time. The only example that I can really give of the Chisel would be to come back here to Wargaming. We're going to go to the UK. We're going to take out their medium tanks real fast, and I'm going to show you guys something that's my issue. The Centurion that it's based off of, Mercenaries, we're going to do the Chisel. My biggest issue that I have with this is the fact that right here we have power to weight. You know what, I'm just going to do this. Power to weight of 18.91 on the Centurion Action X, so 18.91. The Chisel somehow has 20.24 power to weight. I personally feel this thing needs a nerf, a mobility nerf, a massive mobility nerf. Like we're talking 16 power to weight, 15 power to weight, because you have all this additional spaced armor, and yet with the Patton turret, which is heavier, than the Centurion Action X turret because it's just thicker all around. With all the additional spaced armor, Centurion Action X, no additional space armor. Somehow, this thing has got worse power to weight than a 120 millimeter gun compared to a 105 millimeter gun. And they want to raise the alpha of it too. This is in a state that I don't like playing this tank because it's turning into a tank that's going to absolutely decimate one-on-one trades against other standard tech tree tanks. And it's going to be outperforming them in so many ways with all of its additional spaced armor and everything else. Personally, for me, Chisel needs a nerf, not a buff.
And there we go. So in the F.
And I'm done listening to them talk. So now, top secret, manual siege mode tanks. Yeah, finally, we've only been talking about manual siege mode for the past 2 years. It's taken you guys this long to finally say, hey, you guys have been talking about this for a minute. Let's finally address this. All right, back to the same issue. We have tanks in game that, in all honesty, are completely god-awful trying to play them in any state whatsoever. I'm going to bring up the Orochi too, because every single time I get the opportunity to mention this tank, I'm going to mention this tank with the 15. Got to mention it with the 15. Type 63 has an automatic siege mode, making it damn near impossible to play by itself. Driving up a hill, you have to wait until you get hit 25 to hit your auto drive, to let your cruise control kick in. Then the moment you are below 25, your cruise control automatically turns off, meaning that I need to constantly push my thumbstick forward the entire time, taking out a mechanic in the game that I would much rather have than not. The way that I look at this tank is like, sure, I get 8 degrees of gun depression. So here's the best part. 8 degrees without siege mode. 12 degrees with siege mode. So right here, they're telling you how much you have. If I could manually control this, I could make 8 degrees work. Whenever I need the 12 degrees, I'll manually engage it because I have no problem with that. This is perfect in my eyes right here. This is absolutely perfect. Same thing about the Orochi. If they want to do some real balance changes, 190, 240. Problem solved. Leave it alone. Maybe increase the reload just a little bit. But on this list, they talk about manual siege mode, and then these are the only tanks that are mentioned inside this, which kind of makes me a little bit fearful because none of these are premium tanks. This is tier 10, tier 10, tier 9, tier 8. None of these are premium tanks. They're not showing off any of the premium tanks. So I'm kind of worried that they're going to look at the premium tanks like, well, we don't want to readjust these just in case people are going to complain about them because they paid for them. The fact is, the Type 63, no one plays it because of how bad it is to drive around the map. It's got one of the best 105s, in my opinion, at tier 8. It's got such an amazing gun that it boggles my mind that it's not more popular. But the biggest reason why it's not popular is because its manual siege mode is a pile of crap.
Top secret, like you see posted here. Auto siege tanks, including the STB UDES 1516, UDES 15, and the UDES 14 Alt 5 will be transitioning.
My brain hurts.
Manual.
So yeah.
Okay. Top secret. Oh god. More of their stupid stuff, please. You don't need to do a whole graphic for it. You guys can literally just have a black background and white words. Problem solved. Top secret rapid mode tank CS59, CS53. What do you mean?
Yes. That is pretty cool as well. So as
manual siege mode. And then we also have some tanks being updated to have rapid mode that currently do not have that.
Yes.
That would include the CS59 and the CS53. Here we have it on screen now.
rapid mode.
All right. I have a question. What the hell is rapid mode? I've never heard anyone use rapid mode before. What is rapid mode? Like, seriously, that I have been playing this game for 11 years and I've never heard the term rapid mode. The CS63 okay, thank you for clarifying that, Dino. Yeah, I've never heard rapid mode before. Like, I've heard speed mode. I've heard turbo mode. I've heard, like, rapid mode. Like, whenever I think rapid mode, I'm all like, T249? Full auto? What? God, I hope not. I hope every single tank isn't affected by full auto. That'd make me go insane. But no, like drive mode. I know it's called drive mode. Speaking of which, what is it called on... I just completely killed my stream and closed it. I'm a Muppet. That's not what I wanted to do. Thank you. Okay, it didn't ruin it. Beautiful. So, for instance, all tanks, again, we're jumping back over to the actual, world of tanks here. We're going to go Polish, because it's Polish, the CS63. In drive mode, right? Is it drive mode? There is a mode that I can switch here. And I can't remember what it's called. It's somewhere on here. You can switch it. I don't use this a whole lot to look at modes, but I know that you can switch it. We'll turn this all the way up. We'll turn it all the way down. Polish. I know it's somewhere right in front of me. Like, it's right. Here it is. Boom. Siege mode. It's a siege mode version for the tank. Okay, boom. Hits 70. And power to weight gets better. A whole plus 10 the power to weight. So it's an additional siege mode. Okay? But like the other content creators on PC, they call it speed mode. Or turbo mode. Okay, like I think QB's referred to it as like speed mode. So rapid mode, yeah, I don't know. Can we please select a term and just use that one term rather than coming up with our own BS? Confusing everyone, because now I know what they're talking about. CS59, I don't know why they want to add it to the CS59, because I don't think it's on the CS59 to begin with. We'll do tier 9, tier 8, CS59, and then the 53. I don't think it's not on these tanks. Why are you adding a mechanic to a tank that honestly doesn't have it in any other version of the game? I don't know why you're going to be adding it to tanks that don't need it.
That is pretty cool.
Because if you want my opinion, the CS53, this thing is already a ghost in the game, like an absolute ghost. The CS53 is one of the most hidden mediums at tier 8. Even up to tier 10. Tier for tier, CS53 is the ghost of Mortain on maps. That's how much concealment this thing has. Now you're going to give it a turbo mode on top of that. You're never going to catch this thing. And it's going to get to some of the most cheesiest positions early game. And this is going to be one of the new top contenders for strongest tier 8 mediums if they give it a turbo mode.
As well, so as we were mentioned, just a small portion of the changes, but
Okay, tank. Premium tank changes. SU-152 Turan, please give it 650 Alpha. FE-4005, Centurion Mark 5, Aviary. Lower this thing's Alpha down to 800 damage. Problem solved. No one cares. Leave the reload alone. Just lower the Alpha. AAT-60, honestly, I've never played it. I don't know about it, and I don't really care for it because they took it from tier 8 to tier 9. They made it overpowered. Yeah, I would like to see Night Stalker on this list. I would like to see Regal Dorn, Lehman Russ. I would like them to talk about what tanks that they're going to be putting on this list as well that they're going to nerf. Because this is just a pile of crap.
Toxic to gameplay per community sentiment. We are planning balance changes where needed to level the playing field. Like we said before, we need to level the disparity between the
all right.
Some of you, I already see in the chat, have been asking for.
Yeah, I'm soon going to pull my hair out based upon how this update's going to go. CC chat, I'm jumping in there right now. Yeah.
Hello.
What's up?
Watching your reaction.
Yeah, what do you think?
Oh, I just got here.
Oh, okay, good. Because I got a migraine, and this is not helping it.
Now I'm just here to listen in.
All right.
And then if you want to play, let me know.
Yeah, I'll have to change my HDMI out. I keep on pulling it out of the back of the TV. I need to just get I need to get a switch. That way it's just...
Dude, yeah, I invested in one. It's a 4-way switch. It's real nice.
Dude, so much better. Because it's like whenever I want to watch a movie, I can't be plugged into my capture card. Because it would be like black screen. You can't do anything, Yep. How far into this until they start talking about commander skills and everything else? Like, when do they actually start to talk about it? 40 minutes in, or after they put the little overlay up for it?
Once they put the overlay up.
That's when they start. Okay.
Things to kind of share with.
Here, I'll actually share it here in Discord. That way you can see it. That way you're on dot. By the way, download Brave. The Brave web browser is so much better than Google or Microsoft or anything.
today, Commander Skills, Equipment, and our Consumables Rework Initiative.
Okay.
When it comes to the skills, equipment, and consumables, we'd like to create.
All right, Clone, I'm just going to say this. Bam's mic absolutely sucks.
Yes.
Dude, okay. Bam, real quick, just a heads up. This sweet baby has been sitting on my desk, not being used for like a year and a half now. Message me and I'll send you this shotgun mic. All you have to do is buy an XLR and an adapter for it, and you can use this so your audio doesn't suck.
Or you go to Walmart and for $40 you buy a snowball.
I'm not a fan of snowballs. Then
For the price?
They're good for the price, but I've spoiled myself with XLR. I can't go back to standard USB mics. I just can't.
More player agency and gameplay choice to encourage variety in your loadouts by helping you feel that you have a valid assortment of good choices. We're planning a reduction in low usage skills and equipment, as well as other improvements.
Okay, I need to cover this real quick. A reduction in low usage skills. So, for instance, are they talking about general mechanic? Are they talking about what's that one called? Supply conversion? Are they talking about last stand? Are they talking like what are they talking about? There's no context here of what they're actually talking about on low usage skills, like a reduction. So like, are they going to be removing them? In all honesty, the way I look at it is that the ones that are being used the most need to be looked at and changed. For instance, since Clone Guy's here, he's going to remember this. Steady Aim and Last Stand were originally locked behind commanders, specifically British. Iron Mace was locked behind a Russian commander. Those perks were originally only usable on those nations.
And the Steady Aim was 5%, not 10.
Yep. Absolutely broken how much they buffed it. And now it's universal. Originally, whenever we would go up against British tanks, they never missed. Never. Like legit, I remember like crap before 6.0. Yeah, like you would play your British tanks and they felt pinpoint the entire time. And if you took that commander off, they just went down the hill. Got so much worse. So like you have people that paid for these commanders that now those commanders are completely useless because what they came with is no longer there. So rather than having this crap, what would be the word for it? Like you buy something that is very special and then it's taken away and given to everyone. You know, like they did the same thing to me whenever I bought Destiny 1 and I bought the Ghost Edition and I got the Collector's Edition Red Ghost, and then out of nowhere they were all like, yeah, this isn't a legendary skin anymore. Your Red Ghost is rare. Have fun. Yeah, it's a complete takeaway from the community, and crap. How would you explain that, Clone? Like,
It's what they've done, like taking something away from the community. It's tough.
Well, no, something that was rare, that was hard to get, and now everyone has it, like the GUP.
Right. Okay. So I'd call that a stab in the back.
That's one way to put it. Or the better thing.
It's false advertising.
It really is.
Because if you forward something or you put something forward and you say, okay, this can be bought, and if you buy it, you get it. It's yours. It's never coming on sale again. That's part of the selling point. If you make it available, for instance, Steady Aim, that was specifically for the Snakebite crew. It was only if you got the Snakebite, only if you did the war stories. That was how you got it. And everyone could get one. All you had to do was go play war stories, and everyone could get one, but there was only one. And so it was available for everyone, which was cool. But it wasn't available to all tanks. It wasn't available to all commanders.
One nation.
And they did sell it at one point as well if you bought the Snakebite.
A part of the comic book. Because they also had the Boilermaker that came with The Last Stand.
So there were two ways to get it. One was to buy it and one was to get it. But the point was that it was never... the point was that it was exclusive. That was the selling point, and now it's not.
Yeah. Like whenever the GUP first came out, you had to earn the GUP. Like you didn't pay for it. You had to play... I can't remember what it was. I remember I played it on my friend's account on PlayStation. Whenever World of Tanks first came over to PlayStation, I grinded on his account. to get him the gup because he didn't know how to play. And I was like, "You really want this tank?" And he's like, "Do I?" I'm like, "Yes, it's gonna be a collector's item." And now it's no longer a collector's item.
Yep, like the black tanks, correct. Now the black tanks are free too. Every year you can like grind 3 of them.
I don't complain
One
about that.
upgrade. I do simply because that was the selling point. In 2017 when they were first released, they said they
Yeah.
will never. And they said that never. Not like, oh, it might not be sold again. They said they will never be sold again. The word was never, which is
Yeah,
an
but
absolute
this
term.
was before these devs took over. So like it may have been
That's how
said
you
by the
wanna do it.
previous dev team, but the new dev team, like, yeah, it just, you know, like they don't have their word isn't their bond because it wasn't their word, you know. So 6 cents, they're going to be adding that as like an actual in-game thing. You know, like how it used to be in beta. You know, you used to drive around and 6 cents was automatic. You know, it was always built in. Then out of nowhere, they were all like, "We're going to put this as one of the perks." Which, honestly, in my eyes, 6 cents and enhanced target info are base game mechanics. The
Yes.
moment that enhanced target info was put as a piece of equipment, that original 4th slot of equipment was no longer a 4th slot of equipment. That was your enhanced target info, which means that they never actually gave us that 4th equipment slot. Now they're
Unless you want to
talking
be that person to remove your advanced
slap a
target
fish.
info. Oh my gosh, get out of here.
He doesn't. His IS4 doesn't have it.
It's awful.
Oh, dude, playing without it. Like, if you try to play without enhanced target info, you are not playing World of Tanks.
I can't.
Yeah.
I tried it, and these people are just in bushes, and I think they're behind cover. I don't even bother with them.
The outline should be a thing because this is not War Thunder. This is World of Tanks is more of your straightforward arcadey style. You know, it's not your realism. If you want the realism, you play War Thunder, and War Thunder has actually got some really good realism, but they still got a lot of problems that they got to work out too. Like their overpressure mechanics right now are kind of out the roof in terms of how artillery hits you. Crap, lost my train of thought. But enhanced target info, now that it's finally coming back to the tank as a base game mechanic, there's now this 4th equipment slot that's being opened up. And Cologne, I actually watched your video today before I just started up my stream. But that 4th equipment slot is going to be way too powerful. You said 33%. I don't know if I would say 33% entirely. I would actually lean more towards like a complete 180 in terms of performance because you have a balanced triangle. Okay, in terms of like character creation, you have strength, defense, and offense, or like support, defense, offense. And like whenever you're designing a boss, you don't ever want to take up all 3 categories. You know, so whenever you take up all 3 categories, that means that this is the guy that you're not supposed to go against at this point in the story. This guy's the guy that you're supposed to go against whenever you complete more side quests. Then you come back to him, you know, because now he's no longer 3 categories strong. He's like a category and a half stronger than you. You know, like, so in terms of offense, you want to avoid his attacks, but you can't deal no damage to him. Once that 4th equipment slot comes into the game, that's actually going to be usable. You're going to have tanks that now have DPM, they have concealment, and then they also have accuracy. That's 3 categories, which is two categories more than before. So out of nowhere, there's going to be these tanks that are going to be outmatching others in 3 categories rather than 1. And I have a problem with that.
Just imagine, and I don't know if you saw this part, but hopefully I'll let your viewers think about this for a moment. Imagine an IS-7 with full speed. So both speed equipments, a gun rammer, and vertical stabilizer, because you can do that.
IS-7 doesn't even need vertical stabilizer though.
If you're going 70 kilometers an hour.
Yeah.
Okay, well if you don't want to do
I'd
that,
put a
then
spa
you
liner on.
could go vents. Spa liner for ramming, sure, but
Not
vents
ramming.
just improve everything.
Crew survivability.
Yeah, but you have reusable medkits now.
Yeah, but that's every single minute. And also, it does kind of lower, like, if you get hit in the thickest part of the armor, it does lower the damage that you take.
Oh, and here's another one. You ready? E25 gun rammer. Then I don't even go gun rammer on mine because I go
There's
full
no
camo.
point because it's got like a
Now you can go-
1.7 second reload.
Now you can go gun rammer, and you can go vents, and you can go camo net, and you can go optics, and now you have max V range, max camouflage, max DPM.
Yeah, that 3 categories that's going to rush everyone.
Or you drop vents if you want to, and you could throw speed on, and bada bing, bada boom.
Yeah.
It's just so it's so game breaking.
Like we're gonna like rather than this fixing any problems, because beforehand, early in the stream, they talked about game balance and slowing down the matches, trying to get things to equal out. Then in this moment, this section, 41 minutes into their stream, they're now talking about contradicting what they talked about in the very beginning. That's what I see right here. So they're gonna fix a problem, and then they're gonna fix another problem, which is gonna cause another problem. Then that cause to the problem, we are staring at it right now.
To the player experience. And here we have a few examples of our improvements under development and that we are exploring. 6th Sense.
The one thing is, he did say a few. Like, this is just a few of the examples of what they're talking about, which these are like the biggest points inside there. 6th Sense, we've been talking about that for what? Like, that's been a conversation topic for 10 years in console about why it's not in the base game.
Yes.
And then once they did 9 perks, like beforehand, you could have unlimited perks. No one really complained about 6th Sense being a part of the base game because it came equipped on every single commander. It was already on the commander. The moment you got a new commander, every single commander had 6th Sense. Like, hands down, they all did. And then once 6.0 dropped, no commander came pre-installed with 6th Sense. So now you have people that are just blind inside World War II. I've seen, like, because you can tell, right, Clone, whenever you're spectating someone, that they get the 6th Sense that pops up and it tells you that they have 6th Sense. And then you have others that it doesn't. It just shows the exclamation point. I've seen the difference between those two types of players playing the game. The one that the light bulb pops up, they're actually trying to get defended and hide. Then the ones that only have the exclamation point pop up, they're still sideways in the open.
Yeah, and it doesn't make sense to me why people think that 6th Sense is not needed, because I even have some Unicums who tell me that it's not needed. It's just like, you're mad. But they're only ever Unicum. They never make it to Super Unicum, and that's the reason. But you have to realize that every tank in this game takes at least 2 seconds to get its gun on you. Then it takes another 2 seconds to zoom in. And so you are given basically 4 seconds to get into cover when your 6th Sense goes off. And so you are hurting yourself by 4 seconds if you don't have 6th Sense.
Kind of, because we don't have that delay timer on console like PC does.
No, that's what I mean, because you're spotted right away. You have basically 4 seconds to find cover before somebody shoots at you. That's what I mean.
Sometimes there's too much accuracy in game. Usually it's half second.
There is too much accuracy, but tanks still have to turn.
Yeah. But based upon all the buffs that they're talking about, they're increasing turret rotation.
Yeah, this is going to be...
Yeah, like, if you make tanks too responsive, it is ridiculous. Like, making them way too responsive is not good.
Will be inherent and added to all commanders. This will be freeing up a skill slot for you all. In addition, very similarly, the enhanced target info equipment is also being added to all tanks, but we are not removing that 4th equipment slot. So, and
all they do is cover what we just talked about. Speaking of which, like, the way I look at it is all accuracy perks should be reverted back to original pre 6.0, including steady aim. Actually, if anything, I think steady aim should only benefit your tank by like 3%, because steady aim doesn't just affect your base dispersion value, it affects every single category of accuracy that you have by 10%. It's not just your base gun dispersion. It is turret rotation. It is tank travel. It is what's the after firing dispersion values. Like, it affects every single point on it. It doesn't just affect base dispersion. Steady aim is the most broken perk I've ever looked at in any game that I have played.
Yes, it is too good. Somebody in my comments yesterday suggested that make it so it only works while you're standing still. That could help a lot.
That's basically the Japanese heavy tanks siege mode that is on PC.
Someone just also said that this caters toward tank destroyers. And thinking about it, you're kind of right. This is going to benefit tank destroyers more than any other tank. The 4 equipment slot.
Oh, yeah, like for TDs all the way. Yeah, I don't disagree. Tank destroyers and light tanks.
because you already can't take vertical stabilizer, and so that's kind of. Oh man, I can't get my gun down. Oh, well.
You playing as well?
Yeah, I'm in the bar right now, dude. Trying to grind it. And there's
All
a
I heard
dragon
was
just
pain.
sitting in front of me, but I can't shoot him.
But
We're just kind of looking at each other.
yeah, back to it. Tank destroyers are going to be the most. They're going to benefit the most.
Yes.
Light tanks are going to benefit. Heavy tanks. The only thing that a heavy tank is going to get out of this is like additional survivability, and that's about it. Or additional, a little bit more speed, a little bit higher travel speed, or maybe even like faster. Because honestly, now you're gonna have a reason to take toolbox on some of your heavies. Like run general mechanic and toolbox, and then sacrifice track mechanic because you're running toolbox with it, or run all three in unison.
Oof, oof, oof! I just hit a waffle.
Mouses are gonna be really hard to track if you do it correctly. But like what is it? Snapshot and run and gun. I kind of feel like those need to be nerfed by about 40%. And steady aim either needs to be lowered to a 4% global buff or completely removed.
4% I think is good because now it's like, okay, is that 4% worth using a skill slot for?
Yeah, but you got to remember though, that's 4% in every single category. So the moment that you put that skill slot on, it
I'm
actually,
still using it.
yeah, it brings you up to the original versions of run and gun and snapshot, rather than being the super overpowered setup. And then
Dude,
the way that
Himmelsorg
you
is
want
hard to the bar.
beyond hard. But the way to actually make it work correctly is I'm having a brain fart now. Lost it. Give me a sec. Born leader and premium consumables should not affect your gun's accuracy at all. Your accuracy should not be affected by crew skill boosters ever. I think that the only metrics that like Born Leader and your premium consumables should affect on your gun is your aim time, and that is it. Because once those start to affect, the additional increase that you get from Born Leader and your premium consumable on your accuracy, I think is in the range of like an additional 8% accuracy with all those perks equipped, is what I think it is. The math I did on this clone guy was almost a year ago, so I can't remember it off the top of my head. But I got a spreadsheet somewhere inside my PC. I can't remember if it's in my mechanical hard drive or my SSD. Good NTs out there?
In that way, everyone is getting a free 4th equipment slot to use again.
Which is cool because that's from the community and support side, these are the two that we hear a lot. Sixth Sense, Enhanced Target.
Yep.
But we are still looking at others.
Yeah, but nobody said, "Oh, we should have 4 equipment slots."
No one said what?
In fact, I brought up in my stream yesterday the value of 2 equipment slots, because 2 equipment slots would make it so a lot people are playing differently.
Oh yeah, like all the way.
Better.
I think that they should try a game mode with 2 equipment slots only, and see if people like it. Like I'm not all for 2 equipment slots, but I think giving it a try is all right, and bringing it up every once in a while, because rather than you being like the defining factor in every single possible way that you can be, it is now a team-based version, or better yet, rather than 2 slots, you just nerf all the equipment. And now I'm not saying drop it, nerf it to the ground. I'm just saying bring it back to like actual realistic standards.
No, I didn't know we were capping. I just got to the broadside of a mouse. I was about to shotgun with the bar.
Is this Lisp?
And there was 1 second left on my reload. I hate my team.
That reminds me, ever since Pain God left, I can no longer call anyone the Watt staff the emulator. Because, dude, the amount of times Pain God would say drove me insane. Actually, gonna go ahead and jump to the end here. I wonder what they're talking about at the very end.
They
Lala,
talk about at the end cap
banners-
circles.
The what?
Cap circles.
Cap, yeah, the cap circles and everything else. Like I watched your video. I agree that just move the cap circles, problem solved. But what are they talking about right here? Flag currency and everything else. Is this for the current
Oh, it's
season?
Valor.
the current events they get to in the last 10 minutes.
is
Okay.
live and
So the way I look at this, yeah, don't require me to go to your guys' website to do stuff. That is the most irritating thing possible. Just saying. Like, cause you're in game, you know, clone, and then it's all like, go open web browser, go here.
And they literally just, took one step forward with that too by allowing us to have regiments in game. So we don't have to go to their website to join.
Yeah, dude. Like, and
then,
now,
then it's 2 steps back.
yeah, like, let's fix a problem so we can make a problem. All right,
So
they like
if-
to have their problems that they can solve. That way they look
That
good.
though is such a tiny thing because I have plenty of friends who absolutely love the trading cards right now. They're just trading with each other and having a great time.
You
And
can
so
trade
I
them
don't
with
have a
each other.
problem. Yep, you can trade them.
I don't even know what they are. Like,
I don't know what it does either. I think you can get if you get all the cards,
you can get
you
tanks.
unlock a paladin. I think.
Yeah. Oh, the Paladin. Their #1 giveaway tank is coming back. Oh my god.
Yep.
If you don't own a Paladin, I don't know how you don't own a Paladin. They have given that tank away like 10 times.
And the Action X at least once because I haven't. I didn't pay for that.
Oh god, yeah, that's right. Like the same thing about like the Type 59 too. That was like the #1 giveaway tank, or the French M4 Sherman, Super Sherman. It was your third tank, Lava Maker. It was everyone's third tank. Just saying, like everyone has the Paladin. If you've been playing the game for the past 6 years and you were capable of keeping all your duplicates, you'd have like 10 Paladins right now.
Oof. Oh, IST1 is coming straight to me, dude. Oh, and I'm lined up with the Storm Tiger. We're going in. We're going in.
Oh, that's gonna be so gross. Isn't the Storm Tiger like a 305?
Yes, it is. But it
So
shoots heat,
awesome.
which is so unfortunate.
No, sorry, I was talking about the bar.
Oh.
The bar has a 305 with AP.
Oh goodness. Oh yeah, it's insane. I just shoot people in the upper plate, and it's insane.
Yeah, you get the dual caliber that kicks in all the time with the bar. It's so disgusting
Oh.
against 140mm top plates.
He's mad. He's mad now. He just slapped him for 1,000.
Okay,
1,000 bad boys.
real fast, clone. Monkey Bug says to make games last longer, completely remove the cap flags. I completely disagree with that. Standard battles have been a part of the game the entire time the game has been out. The issue with capping has never really been a massive issue until after 6.0, until after everyone became fast, until after we lost a lot of the players inside the game. And the intelligence, like, I don't want to say intelligence, I don't want to use that word, but like out of the standard understanding of the game went down, that's when capping started to go up.
A Vanguard buff by removing caps. You know what? I can see that.
A Vanguard buff by removing caps? Yeah, but remember my Raider medals I got in my Vanguard? I think I was playing with you whenever
Yeah.
I got them.
Yeah, it was me. You got two
Yeah.
of them in a row.
I got two Raiders medals in a single night, back to back, in my Vanguard by capping without being spotted. It's one of the rarest medals in the game, and I got two of them on the same night. Anyways, I don't think that there's anything else inside this that they're going to be covering that is worthwhile to actually look at.
There's not.
It looks like they're just going to be covering some other stuff. So, what the heck is this?
I have 3 full HE pens right now, dude.
You have 3 what?
3 HE pens in my bar right now.
Isn't that 105 millimeters?
100. It's something like that.
It's not a whole lot of
Oh,
pen.
there's another guy. Oh my goodness, I'm going in. No, my machine's going in. I hate him.
I hate him.
I do hate him. My machine just rammed him for 1,000. That's no fun.
So, I'm trying to remember. But they're talking about doing the 120 tanks. And I was mentioning that I hope they don't do it like they did when it was 6.0 first got dropped.
Yeah.
Because when it was 6.0 first got dropped, they overdid the Type 5. There was no weak spot in the front of that. It's either you shoot it with premium or you don't pin it. the E4 turret buff that they gave it, making it hands down better than the E3 any day of the week. And then the, what was it, the M46 patent? Actually, I'm surprised you haven't looked at the patent. Did you ever cover the M46 patent in any video after they changed its premium standard?
I believe so.
Yeah?
I must have, at least on stream.
Because they changed
I know I play it. I love it. It's so good right now. It's stupid good.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. It's one of the best tier 9s. Same thing about the T54. They took it from, what was it, 221, 330 heat, and they gave it 268 standard APCR rather than AP. So yeah, there's a couple of things that they've done. I don't get the paladins. I don't know, like between capping and everything else, that's going to be something that is going to have to be like slowly introduced. Like you can't just completely change it right then and there. Like I'd say do one where there's a lockout for kill count, like Clone Guy was talking, 50% of board. Introduce that as like a secondary standard game mode and then see the feedback on it. But you don't want to introduce it as like the only version of the game mode because that's horrible.
And that's doable too. It's not going to split the community like it would like if you had a +1 -1 weekend.
Well,
everybody's in the same pool.
A little bit ago, they were talking about wanting to balance out the stock tank grinds, and I sat there. I'm like, dude, our original developers already had a way to solve that. If you're playing a stock tank, the game acts like +1 -2. It's not guaranteed, but it acts like it. If you're playing a stock tank 6-7 years ago, it acted like +1 -2. But the moment you put any upgraded items on that tank, you lose that benefit.
What is my alpha?
On what? The bar?
Yeah, I penned 2 people with HE.
1,400 HE, I think, and then like 1,000 AP, 1,015. I could be wrong because that's Yak Panther.
Yeah, it's 1,400. I slapped somebody for 1,250 and then another guy for 1,200.
Ow.
I just lowballing. It was already 2, the second one.
Well, I wouldn't say radio would affect it. Like there's ways to introduce it, but like the one of the best ways to make stock tank grinds not so bad is just if they're fully stock, give them +1 -2 for a fully stock tank. There's no point in rebuffing the crap out of it, and it's the simplest solution.
And I'm more than willing to wait 3 cycles in the queue to get that game.
Right? Well, I wouldn't want to wait
for what
15
seconds.
minutes.
And
so you're talking about waiting a minute. Ooh, yeah, that's another thing, dude. Because I remember Vizshaw talks about this. He loves fast matchmaking. He doesn't like slow matchmaking. And I sat there. I'm all like, I like Vizshaw, okay, but
he only plays top tier tanks.
Yeah,
he's not playing tier 8s. He's not playing tier 7s. He's not grinding tanks. Anytime a tank comes out, he
just pays for it, or he asks Wargaming for the XP to get it. So he doesn't need to though. He's got so much free XP, so much gold. But in the end, like you have crap. What was it gonna be? What was I gonna say? You have all this stuff that you can do in game to fix a couple of the problems. Yet making problems is kind of the goal, it feels like at times. But for stock tank grinds, doing a +1 -2 would be the best way to do it for stock tank grinds. I completely lost track of where I was at. I'm thinking about plugging in my HDMI now. Maybe not. I actually might play some Hell Let Loose. But no, just
imagine you just did that though for tech tree tanks in general.
Oh, +1 -2
playing them. Yeah, people are only playing premiums. Like if you load into a game at tier 8, you have 2 tech tree tanks. It's like okay, per team. Everyone else is premium.
Clone Guy. Remember what 3 years ago? We used to look at a piece of paper and it had all the time zones for what maps are going to be played for a certain time of day.
Yes.
Yeah, let's hope that doesn't come back.
Ooh, Deathstar just bounced off of me. I'm too good.
You know, like I used to look at it.
Just bounced off of me again.
Like we knew the rotations before the rotations ever even got published. They messed that up so bad. Anyways, you guys, if you have any questions that you want to include, at the end of the stream, I'm going to be messaging one of the Wargaming staff. If you have a question that you want to be asked, leave it in the comments inside this live stream. I will go through and collect them, and I'll be sending them off to one of the Wargaming staff to see if we can get any reply on them. So if your question doesn't get answered, it won't be mentioned in the video or anything else. Just know that there's probably an NDA behind it or something else. But I'm going to be compiling my own list as well to go over and asking a couple of other content creators if they have any questions that they would like to ask anonymously, and then go that way. Anyways, guys, thanks for tuning in. This was an hour and a half long of my migraine not going away and having brain farts looking at anything that Wargaming was talking about. So, yeah, brain farts and pain. Anyways, until next time, I'm out of here.